Story time. I want you to meet Henry Molaison, a boy who would become arguably the most famous case in neuroscience history. See, Henry was born in 1926 and at around the age of 7 was struck by a bicyclist and thrown to the ground, where he hit his head and was knocked unconscious for roughly 5 minutes. Not much happened after that. It seemed like he had recovered, but a few years later, starting around the age of 10, he suffered from his first minor seizure. As you can imagine, things got worse and worse as kids bullied him at school, until on his 17th birthday, in his parents' car, he suffered his first grand mal seizure. He dropped out of school and didn't return for about 2 years, when he finally found a different school to finish his degree out, and eventually got a job as an assembly line worker fixing motors. The only issue was he was still having seizures, averaging roughly 10 a day, with at least one grand mal seizure per week. These mini seizures resulted in him blacking out, and he eventually had to give up work because he just couldn't do it. Doctors spent nearly a decade trying to get his seizures under control using every medication known to us back in the 1950s, with no success. This went on until in 1953, doctors decided to perform a radical and experimental surgery to go in and actually remove the sections of brain they thought might be responsible for the seizures. The surgery was remarkably successful and the seizures completely stopped. Everything seemed great until they started to notice he didn't seem to remember anything after the moment of surgery. The doctors were understandably extremely concerned and dumbfounded by this outcome, and brought in a team of experts to try and figure out what the heck was going on. In particular, how could removing this one tiny section of brain shown here cause such profound memory loss when scientists were sure memory was distributed throughout the brain and not localized in any given spot? So tomorrow I'll share with you what Dr. Milner found and what was so interesting and unique about his memory loss.